To enter to win a Force FX lightsaber completely free, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like the video, and post in the comments below which lightsaber you hope to win. 4 lucky winners have already been announced, so enter now for your chance to win. Now, let's begin with the video. The Jedi Master Mace Windu was perhaps the most combatively brilliant fighter of his era, with his only rivals being the likes of the Chosen One Anakin Skywalker and the Grandmaster of the Jedi Order himself, Yoda. On the opposite end, the cyborg General Grievous was the most notorious Jedi killer of the age. Over his career, Grievous had claimed the lives of dozens of Jedi under the command of Count Dooku. Although both Windu and Grievous were both respectively the trump cards on the opposite ends of the war, the two rarely met on the battlefield, only encountering one another a single time in a true lightsaber duel. Today, we will discuss that single engagement and who ultimately won the fight. Instead of predicting who would win the fight, we will actually pull from the content and tell you exactly who won this engagement during the Clone Wars. The following battle comes from the Legends book Labyrinth of Evil. Without pausing, Grievous drew 2 lightsabers from inside his billowing coat. By the time they were ignited, Mace was already on and all over the cyborg, batting away at the 2 blades, swinging low at Grievous's artificial legs, thrusting at his skeletal face. The lightsabers thrummed and hissed, meeting one another in bursts of dazzling light. In a corner of Mace's mind, he wondered to which Jedi Grievous's blade had belonged to. Just as the Force was keeping Mace from being blown off of the Maglev's roof, magnetism of some sort was keeping the general fastened in place. For the cyborg though, the coherence hindered as much as it helped, whereas Mace never remained in one place for very long. Again and again, the 3 blades joined, in snarling attacks and parries. Grievous was well trained in the Jedi arts. Mace could realize the hand of Dooku in the general's training and technique. His strikes were as forceful as any Mace had ever had to encounter, and his speed was astonishing. But he didn't know Vape had, the technique of dark flirtation in which Mace excelled. To the rear of the car, where Grievous's pair of Magna Guards had made the mistake of pitting themselves against Kit Fisto. The Natolan's blade was a cyclone of blazing blue light, resistant to the energy outpourings of a lightsaber. The Frick alloy staffs were potent weapons, but like any weapon, they needed to find their target, and Kit simply wasn't allowing that. In moves a Twi'lek dancer might envy, he spun around the guards, claiming a limb from both with each rotation. Left legs, right arms, right legs. The speed of the train saw to the rest, ultimately whisking the droids into the canyon like insects blown from the windscreen of a speeder bike. The loss of his Confederates was noted by whatever computers were slaved to Grievous's organic brain, but the loss of neither distracted nor slowed him. His sole setting was attack. Successful at analyzing Mace's lightsaber style, those same computers suggested that Grievous alter his stance and posture, along with the angle of his parries, ripostes, and thrusts. The result wasn't Vapad, but it was close enough. And Mace wasn't interested in prolonging the contest any longer than necessary. Crouching low, he angled the blade downward and slashed, guiding it through the roof of the car, perpendicular to Grievous's stalwart advance. Mace saw by the surprised look in the cyborg's reptilian eyes that for all his strength, dexterity, and resolve, the living part of him wasn't always in perfect sync with his alloy servers. Clearly, Grievous, one-time courageous commander of sentient troops, realized what Mace had done and wanted to sidestep. Where General Grievous, current commander of droids and other war machines, wanted nothing more than to impale Mace with lunging thrusts and the parried blades. Slipping into the gap made by Mace's saber, Grievous's left talon lost magnetic purchase on the roof, and the general faltered. Mace came out of his crouch, prepared to drive his sword into Grievous's guts, but some last-instant firing of the general's cyber synapses compelled the cyborg's torso through a swift half-twist that would have sent Mace's head hurling into the canyon had the maneuver prevailed. Instead, Mace leapt backward, out of the range of the slicing blades. The force pushed outward, just at the instant of Grievous's single misstep. Off the side of the car the general went, twisting and turning as he fell, Mace trying to track the general's contorted plunge, but unsuccessfully. Had he fallen into the canyon? Had he managed to dig his duranium claws into the side of the car, or grab hold of the maglev rail itself? Mace couldn't take the time to puzzle it out. This is the end of the engagement between General Grievous and Mace Windu, as it concludes with General Grievous being flung from the car. During the battle, there are a few notable things to address. The The first of which is that Grievous is noted as extremely skilled with the lightsaber, but his brain and body don't always seem to sync up perfectly in the midst of a lightsaber duel. Instead, we see that they don't always line up, and this can be a crippling weakness for General Grievous. Another thing is towards the beginning of the duel, Mace uses Vapad, and Grievous is relatively unprepared for the strike. Later, however, General Grievous actually manages to mimic Mace's form, and this is one of the most impressive things we have ever seen General Grievous do, as he keeps pace with the Jedi Master. Although not perfect, General Grievous came close to Vapad. Again, however, Mace manages to outclass his opponent, as he uses the Force to attack Grievous and throw him off his game. Every time General Grievous launches an advance against Mace Windu, he seems to be prepared for it and counters it perfectly. Eventually, the fight ends with Grievous being thrown from the ship the two were battling on, as Mace Windu stands the victor. Again though, I want to touch on this. It is very impressive that General Grievous seems to come close to mimicking Vapad, and it is actually this mimic that propels Mace to end the fight as quickly as possible, as to make sure that Grievous does not fully achieve the form. This ability by Grievous to mimic any lightsaber form he encounters using his cybernetic brain is hugely impressive, and speaks to the power that Grievous commanded during his life. Again though, ultimately, Windu stood the victor on this day, as he was able to throw Grievous from the craft, and kept good pace with him during their entire duel. To put it simply, General Grievous was a phenomenal fighter, but Mace Windu was just better. Something to point out though is that Grievous only utilized 2 lightsabers during their fight, but even with 4, I believe Mace would keep up with the droid general. But that was Mace Windu versus General Grievous. Rather than do a whole versus video, I wanted to examine an actual fight that had occurred between the two of them, and explore how Windu was the clear winner of the battle. But leave in the comment section down below, which combatant do you find to be more powerful, and why, and what do you think of this lightsaber battle? Ultimately, who is more powerful, Mace Windu or General Grievous? Again, don't forget to enter the lightsaber giveaway. All you have to do is subscribe, like the video, and post in the comments which lightsaber you hope to win. Thank you so much for watching, may the Force be with you, and have a great day.